Hello,
Hey.
everyone. Welcome. Sorry, just had to unmute myself. Welcome. This is our virtual paint party. Shawnee and I are super happy to be with here today. We're going to have so much fun designing, creating, going to be epic. Teachers, if you would like a copy of this resource, the cc.page/virtual paint party, open up that a new tab. Students, don't worry about this link. I got you covered with all the steps today. But teachers, if you do want to save this research for a future paint party in your class, thecc.page/virtual paint party. Now, Shawnee, do you want to say hello?
Hello, my name's Sean. Everyone calls me Shawnee. I'm a grade 3 teacher at heart, and I'm here in Glastonbury, Connecticut. Thrilled to be with my friend Emma. This is going to be a lot of fun.
And Shawnee, I'm so pumped to be with you. My name is Emma Cottier. I'm from Victoria, British Columbia. We're going coast to coast today. That's one of the joys of working with Shawnee. Middle school teacher, but I love to just create and design with technology. So happy you are with us today. I would like to acknowledge that I am on the traditional territory of the local West Saanich people, of our Coast Salish people. It's a beautiful piece of land on the southern Vancouver Island, and which I'm a colonizer. And I'm so thankful to be able to teach, learn, explore, and share my passion of technology with you from these traditional lands. Big shout out to the Cobblestone Collective for the session, and also a big shout out to Microsoft for sponsoring this. We are so thankful to be here and providing this and allowing them to support such creative fun this morning. Now, before we get started, we want to remind you that you can see and hear us, but we can't see or hear you. But you can interact with us in a new tab or a new browser window. If you type in the cc.page/answer2, Shawnee can give you a shout out. You can ask questions. If we're doing the demo and you're like, hey, Emma, I missed something, let us know in the form. We're happy to show you again. So again, the cc.page/answer2, interact with us.
And we already have some people in there. A class from Kashmir Avenue Public School in Mississauga. Armand's in here. Sua, I think. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Is excited. So we've got kids from Brampton all over already using that form. So that's awesome.
Oh, amazing. So clearly well-versed in these sessions. So we love that. Teachers, we just want to remind you at any time, you can pause us, you can remind us, or remind both of us, or play. So at any time, you can just pause it, make sure your students are caught up, and then keep going. So just a friendly reminder about that. Now, Shawnee, to get started, I would love to know who is joining us today. So feel free to let us know your name, maybe what grade you're in. Let us know. Post your answers to the cc.page/answer2. Shawnee and I would love to know who's joining us today.
Oh my gosh, we have Aaliyah, I believe is the way to pronounce that. Ethan's in here. Kaylee, Alan, Naren, Amin, Garvey, Kylie, grade 5. We've got Miss Patterson's 5-6 class from Kingston. Jason, Macy, Alan, looks like we're grade 5 and 6 mostly.
Amazing. And what a great audience already. Like, we're just getting started. Awesome. And we love the interactions. So keep it going. We'd love to give you shout outs. We are here to answer your questions. So keep using that form. Our plan today, we are going to explore and create with the graphic design features of Microsoft PowerPoint. Shawnee and I will tell you again, but just a heads up, we are using the web-based version of PowerPoint today through Office.com. There is a few differences between the desktop version and the web version. So just to get you prepared, we will be using the web version. And of course, we are going to create a visual masterpiece today, just inspired by my local coastal landscape of the West Coast. But reminder, students, you have creative reign. Just because I'm using a certain colors, and that was just, if you heard that bell, it just means, let's go, Emma, let's start designing. We are going to create a coastal piece, but Shawnee and I want to remind you that just because I pick a color doesn't mean you have to pick that color. You can make your painting however you would like. You have creative reign, so to say. We love seeing the differences in all the designs. So today's goal, we are going to create our very own West Coast landscape in Microsoft PowerPoint. Woo! It's going to look something like this. It's so beautiful, and yours is going to be beautiful too. Shawnee, you ready?
Yeah. No, I love this. I have a couple of, I'm kind of curious how you did a couple of things, but.
Oh, amazing.
We'll get there.
So graphic design is going to work in layers. So we're going to be starting with the background first. We're going to work our way up to the mountains, and I call it the terrain in the middle. But graphic design is truly done in layers. So we'll be starting with our background and literally working our way down the painting with the layers. We're going to have a blast today, and finishing with the sun. Now mine's the sun, but if you choose say darker colors for the background, maybe yours is going to be the moon. So you can start kind of brainstorming some colors, some things you want to put in there. I think let's get started. Do we have any more shout outs, Shawnee, before we dive in?
Oh my gosh. So many folks have jumped in here. Oh, we have Garvey from grade 11, some more grade 5 and 6 students. Prince from Brampton. Where else were you? Mississauga, Brampton, Baden Public School, 6th graders, Addison, and so many. It's just piling in here. So
I love it.
We do have an actual question though, and this is kind of fun. Did you use your finger or a pen? So like, how are you navigating inside PowerPoint to make these paintings? I think.
Oh, that is such a good question. A mouse is totally doable. I'm actually just going to be doing this from the trackpad. I am working on a ThinkPad. So I am creating with just a regular, basically laptop with a trackpad, but you're welcome to use a mouse, but no other equipment required.
Awesome. So let's do this.
Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to exit out of there, but we're going to be coming back to it, reminding you that this is our goal today. So first steps first, we are going to open office.com. You can just get there simply office.com in a new browser. Make sure you are signed in the top right. You will know if you are signed in if you see your name, or sometimes it's the logo from your school. Sometimes it's your initials. So make sure you are logged in. So I'm already logged in with my school account. And I'm going to go over to the far left-hand side. If I hover next to that plus sign, it's going to say create. And that is what we are doing today. We are creating. So I'm going to click that. And a new PowerPoint presentation. Remember, I am in the web-based version. There is a few tools we are using today that are only available in the web-based version. So if you can switch over, that would be great. Now, sometimes, Shawnee, we get the question if this would work on other applications. And the answer is, for the most part,
kind of-ish.
You are welcome to design in another application like Google Slides, for instance, would kind of be that equivalent. But it's not going to have quite all the design features. You'll certainly be able to kind of do like the background and the mountains. But if I go back here, PowerPoint has these amazing icons that we put in, and those are not in Google Slides. So if you can get over to the PowerPoint, it'll be worth it. But just know you can still benefit from this session if you're in a different application. All right. We've opened PowerPoint. Teachers, this might be a great time to just pause this lesson, make sure your students are logged in, make sure they can open PowerPoint. So go ahead and pause if you just need to do a quick check in your classroom.
So while we're doing that, so I think, let's see, Bianca and I think Alan are coming to us from Mississauga. We've got grade 9 students in here now, grade 5. Sua wanted a shout out. So, but yeah, I think we're doing great. We're still getting caught up, and hopefully that was a fun little pause to let teachers check and everyone's logged in to their O365, not using the desktop application because it doesn't have all the same
Features.
tools.
We'll call them features, Shawnee.
Features, yes.
All right. Once it's open, first things first, let's always title your document. And I always encourage my students, first name first. I'm going to call it Emma Virtual Paint Party! Exclamation mark, because we are going to have a good time this morning.
It's not
So
a party
Emma,
without an exclamation mark.
it's not a party without it. To me, we all know that. Just emphasizes your point a little bit more. So I've titled it in the top left. Because we are painting, we need to start with a blank canvas. There's two ways of doing that. The first is to simply click on the outside of these boxes and hit delete. Now, if you click in them, hello, PowerPoint is going to think that you want to type in them. So make sure you click on the outside, hit backspace. The other thing you can do is under the home menu, they actually have a layout button. And just go ahead and click blank. So make sure you are starting, excuse me, with a blank canvas. We want nothing. Now, I love the designer tool that might show you cool templates. We're not using any templates today. We want
Start from scratch.
Start from scratch. Sorry, I'm just getting so excited about this painting. We want a brand new canvas. Now, I'm going to remind you of what we're creating. So I'm going to be starting with the background, and you'll notice the background has these like peachy hues. I'm going to be starting with the darkest color and working my way up. So that's where we're starting with the paint party. Shawnee, do you think we're ready to like really start putting some paint?
I think so. I mean, we've had enough time. Everybody should have been able to make sure they're logged in and get a blank presentation going by now. I'm just wondering though, like, do we have to do peachy, or could we do orange or tangerine? Or
I like how you went with other fruits on that, Shawnee. But you can do any color. So I'm going to go with the peachy tones. I will tell you the exact colors I'm doing if you would like to replicate. Always a compliment. But you are more than welcome to change up. Maybe you want to do some navy blues, some royal blues, some greens, some yellows. I like to think of mine as kind of more like a sunrise type, but you could certainly have a nighttime landscape. This is your paint. This is your canvas. You design it how you would like.
Awesome.
All right, first step, let's start with our background color. We are going to click on design. And under design, we're going to see this background. So again, we were on the home, we were on the home menu before. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 over to design. And we're going to click where it says background color here. We're going to go ahead with our solid fill. And the color I am choosing, Shawnee always makes fun of me because I always tell you the exact color, but orange accent to lighter 40%. And I always joke, so in Shawnee's language, it would be 6 over and 4 down. Shawnee does more of like the battleship with the paint palette. So orange
so
accent.
whatever works.
Whatever works. I'm going with this one. It's the 6 1 over and 4 down. But there's also beautiful blues in here. There's grays. And I'm just using, excuse me, I'm just using the colors, the theme colors. I'm going to create the whole thing with this. You could certainly go down here to more colors and design your own as well. So lots of options for your colors today. So design, background, solid fill, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. So that's a lot of peachy, but not to worry. If we go back to our original painting, it's just this top portion. So only a little bit of it is going to peek out. Now I know Shawnee's probably wondering, like, how did you get that like kind of curved part of your background?
I'm curious about 2 other things, but that is the first one that struck.
That is the first one. So make sure you have your background. If you do, maybe just pause it. Make sure you're caught up there. And we're going to go to the insert menu. And they're actually shapes, believe it or not. So I do a lot of my graphic design with shapes. It's amazing how you combine them together. And we're actually going to scroll down. We're going to go past the lines, past the rectangles, past the basic shapes, all the way down. It's under stars and banners. And the one we're going to use is the wave. Now, don't click double wave because we're actually going to use that later on for the terrain. You are going to click the wave. So again, I had to scroll quite a bit down for that. insert shapes, past the rectangles, past the basic shapes, past the arrows,
It's a
past the
whole new
equations.
country none of us have seen before
A
because it's
whole new.
such a scroll down.
You have to scroll down. We are going to do the wave. And when you click on it, it inserts that shape. We are going to take it over to one of the sides. It doesn't matter which one. We're going to drag it all the way over to the other side. By the way, those red lines are grid lines, and you will actually know that you've covered the entire space when you see that. So that's kind of a way of telling me that I have made it all the way over. So
But
now
that's
I
kind of
have
a gross
this.
blue.
I know it's not. I have to be honest. It's not one of my favorite color combinations. It's not one of my favorite. So I want to kind of adjust the shading so that it complements each other. So we've inserted our shape. I'm going to click on this, make sure, because you always have to tell PowerPoint what you want to change the color of. Make sure you click on it. And when you insert something, Shawnee, did you know another menu comes up? We have this shape menu that's now come up. So if I inserted like an image, or I might see the word graphic, but I inserted shape. So that's going to give me a menu with some options. I'm going to do a fill color. So again, Shawnee's going to make fun of me here, but orange accent 2, lighter 60%. In the
Over
Shawnee
6 and down 3.
in the Shawnee world, over 6 and down 3. Sticking with our battleship, we are going to color that. Start doing the tone. You'll notice it's one shade lighter. But Shawnee, you'll notice that there is a border color on here. For this painting, I'm going to choose not to do a border color. But if I was doing, say, I've always been inspired by Ted Harrison, a legendary Canadian painter.
Yeah.
He does like gorgeous landscapes of the Northwest Territories and the Yukon, and he does really beautiful contrasting border colors. So you can certainly keep that if you want. But under that shape menu, right next to the fill is the shape outline. And I'm going to choose no outline because I don't want an outline on that. So now it kind of blends in nicely. We're looking good. If we go back to original, we see that we had another one. So we could go back to our shape menu again and insert another one. But Shawnee, I'm going to teach you.
There's got to be an easier way.
There is an easier. I'm going to teach you a little shortcut, Shawnee. Students, you might know this, but Control D on your keyboard, if you are, say, on like a Chromebook or a ThinkPad or a laptop, but if you're on a MacBook, it's Command D. But I'm going to hit Control D. Look at that, Shawnee. It is duplicated. Amazing. And then those grid lines will help me to kind of line it up, make sure I have done it. Now, you can't see my second one because they're the same color, but I'm going to go ahead and change the color of my second one. And Shawnee, get your battleship ready. I am choosing orange accent 2, lighter 80%. So one above what I just did, but Shawnee, if you're playing battleship,
6-2.
Yeah, 6-2 over 6. The second one down. I'm going to choose that one. Ooh, and look at that, Shawnee.
Oh, nice.
That is looking nice. I'm going to drag this down a little bit just because I want to make sure it gets tucked behind my mountains there. So you can see we're making some really good progress. All right. Now, Shawnee, what do you notice about my background?
Well, it's like got like speckles or highlights.
Yeah, there's like a little texture. There's
texture,
something going on.
That was the other thing I was wondering how you did, because I have not seen that before.
Let's add that. So let's just maybe recap where we are, Shawnee. So we have done a background color. We have inserted a shape, and the shape we did was the wave. All the way down here. We inserted the wave. We fill colored it. We took off the shape outline color. Then we duplicated it, and we are where we are right now. We are going to add that texture, and that texture right next to the shape menu, there's like this cute little blue bird with a leaf. If you hover, it's going to say icons. We're going to click on it, and you have a few categories here: images, icons, people, stickers, illustrations, amazing things built into PowerPoint here. But we're
So
going to
I
go.
love the icons, but I didn't know that the texture thing is in here.
It is. Now, we're going to get to the icons because on my original, you saw like the mama bear and the baby bear, or maybe it's Papa Bear, but you saw the bears, you saw the trees. We're going to get to those later. But under illustrations, so we're going to go all the way over. The fifth one, we're going to click on illustrations. And we are going to search for a pattern. And there's amazing things in here. If you haven't used them before, you can change the color of them. You can adjust the size of them. You can put them on a research presentation. You can add these like beautiful little accents to your designs. They're brilliant. Like teachers, you could even use this one here, like as a geoboard on your, like you could do the coolest things. The one I'm going to use is this circle one. It actually looks like little kind of horizontal and vertical lines, just to give you a heads up that when you search for something, sometimes they're in slightly different locations each time. I think for today's purposes, they're kind of showing up in the same spot, which is nice. But I'm going to click this pattern here. I'm going to click on it and then hit insert. It's going to drop onto my background. Now I'm going to quickly show you that if you're like, whoa, where did Emma find that cool thing? Click on icons, illustrations, and we put the search word of pattern in there. So I'm going to search pattern, and it was this one right here. It's nice that they've kind of put it in a bigger, I call this like the emphasis box. Sometimes they emphasize different ones, but I'm going to do this one, insert it. Now, just like our shape, we can change the color. I am going to make it the exact same color as my lightest peach, so to say. And you'll notice now instead of shape, and this has to be selected, by the way, you won't be able to see that menu unless your item is selected. I'm going to click on graphics, and just like the shapes, I can adjust the color. I'm going to go with that lightest one so it blends in to kind of my second wave that I did there. If you drag from the side, you're going to keep it proportional. Now, we're not just going to drag this out and stretch it. We're going to leave it proportional, but what we're going to do is practice our Control D, our duplicate tool. Control D, we're going to duplicate so you can see now it's overlapping. And I kind of like the overlapping because it adds like a slightly denser area to start some points on my background. So I'm going to duplicate. You hopefully can see that I'm moving left to right. And don't worry about any of your shapes or patterns going off the sides of your canvas. That's the great thing about virtual paint parties is there's no cleanup. And when we download it as a JPEG, it's going to tidy and clean up all those sides for you. So don't worry if anything goes off the sides of your painting. I'm going to show you how to do digital cleanup. I love it.
So I just opened a new tab and was looking because I wanted to like make sure I remember to do that illustrations and be able to search and find the patterns. My patterns came up like it was the same stuff, but it wasn't in the same order as what the screen was showing for yours. So I just had to scroll down a little bit, but it was there and I found it, but it was just in a different order. So
yeah, so maybe we'll show that. So it was insert icons, and sometimes just when I search it, they're just in different spots, and that's fine. Yeah. It will be in there. Mine showed again, but I've really learned the more I use Power, sometimes it switches up. There's also other textures in there that you can use. All would look really nice. So again, it's your painting. You can design it however you would like. This was the one that I chose. Again, this might be a nice time to pause here because we will be moving into the lower portion of the painting, but we have made such good progress already, Shawnee.
Yes, definitely. And we've got more people are joining us in the I want to say the chat, but it's the forum. We've got Ben and Bianca. We've got Ganit. Alan has joined us. A lot of grade 5 students are in here. So yeah, fun. Hopefully everybody's, and remember, like, you can always like pause and rewind it and whatever.
And just create. So Shawnee, we're going to be moving into the bottom portion of this painting. Now you'll see that we've done all 3 layers of the background. So moving into more of the foreground. And we're going to just be adding a base rectangle. And I do this underneath my terrain just so I don't accidentally have like the pop of that peach color coming through. So I kind of put it down like as a bit of like a safety blanket to trap the colors from each other. So I'm going to go back to my shape menu. And this one's easy to find. It's the second one. It's nice. We're just going to do a rectangle and we'll drag it over. I start on the bottom left. I'm going to drag it. It's going to cover approximately half. Now, you'll know when you're at half because, there was right there. That grid line pops up. It will tell me that I'm at half, but I actually want to go a little bit lower so I make sure I have some room for my mountain. So I hit the halfway and then I drop down a little bit. And this is just going to cover that peach on the bottom, just in case my terrain layers don't match up perfectly. I'm going to go ahead back to my shape menu. I'm going to do, I think I'm going to go for this one, blue, gray, text 2, darker 25. Shawnee, battleship?
Over 4, down 5.
Yeah. Shawnee, you're really sinking my battleships. I like it. All right. Oops, I picked the wrong one. There we go. I want that one. So this is looking really good. I got my painting. And I think we're ready for some mountains.
Bring on the mountains.
Now,
I'm on the East Coast now, and we don't have mountains like the West Coast.
We have some really big ones. I'm really close to the Rocky Mountains. So students, this is your own painting. If you want big, massive mountains like the West Coast, do it. If you're on the East Coast and maybe your mountains are more like hills, that's okay. Hills are fine. It is your landscape painting. Back to the insert menu, back to the shape menu. Now, we need to be a little strategic here before we start making the rectangles. If I go back to my original, you'll see that I have 5 mountains, but you need to be a little bit careful because graphic design is done in layers. If I want kind of like that feature mountain in the middle, I need to place that one last. So I'm going to put the ones like in the background first, and then I'm going to place that feature one last. Now you can reorder, and I'm going to be showing you how to do that. But just know your most recent thing you place on your canvas will be the thing on top, will be the item on top. Graphic design is layers. So I'm going to go back to the shape menu. And I'm going to go to the triangles. The triangle we're using is an isosceles triangle. For your math people out there, 2 equal sides, 2 equal angles, isosceles. And we're going to place that. So I'm going to work with my my mountains in the back first. I can stretch it out. I can make them taller. I can make them shorter. However you want them is just fine. Again, we're going to fill color them like our other shapes. I'm actually going to make this one the same blue that I've done. But something slightly different I'm going to do with the mountains that I didn't do on my other shapes is that border color. If I go back to the original, Shawnee, see the outline on my mountain?
Yeah, they're very crisp.
They're very crisp. They have a nice black outline. So I want to make sure that my mountains have an outline. So we have our fill color. We know how to do that. We've practiced that about 3 or 4 times already. But next door to it is what they're called your shape outline. So they're the shape outline colors. I'm going to be choosing black, but you are certainly welcome. Like even a dark mountain with a white outline looks really great as well. If you're kind of doing like more of like a winter, a nighttime. So I'm choosing black, but you can certainly do your own. Contrast. I just think contrasting looks best. So if you have a really dark mountain, choose a really light outline color. If you have a light mountain, so just make sure you have really contrasting colors. They look the best. Now, Shawnee, you will see that my outline's pretty skinny. It's actually kind of hard to see it.
Barely even see it.
So we have a way to fix that. You'll notice that you actually sometimes can click on layers. I do that all the time. But under that shape menu, under our shape outline menu, we can scroll down. So we know that there is the option for no outline, but if you go further down, wait. So the bigger the number, the bigger the fraction, the bigger the weight. It defaults to about a half. I'm going to go to 2¼ And I love in PowerPoint, it actually gives you like visuals of the thickness. So you can like kind of anticipate what it will look like. There's even sketches, arrows. There's tons of cool stuff in here. But I'm going to go to 2¼ and look at that beautiful line, Shawnee. That looks nice.
That adds a little pop.
I do. Yeah, a pop. That's a great way of describing it. So, Shawnee, I'm going to practice my duplicate again. Control D. I'm going to duplicate this mountain. Maybe I make this one like a little taller, a little wider. I accidentally clicked on my pattern again for about the 5th time. Just so students, that happens even to the best of us.
And there was a question on the forum. Mira was asking about that. And, like, so you did it just as texture, but you could have changed it to, instead of being the same as your light peach color, if you made it white, that would simulate like snow if you wanted snow in your painting, right?
Yeah. And depending how dense or how you layered it, right? If you really layered that pattern, you'd have like a snowstorm.
Yeah.
If you kind of like pulled it out a bit, you could have like, I would call it like those Hallmark movie snowflakes.
Yeah, they're just like light flurries.
Yeah. I love that. And students, maybe while we're at it, while I'm finishing the mountains here, maybe let us know in the forum. Shawnee and I would love to know. Tell us about the colors. Like, what did you end up choosing for your background? We'd love to hear from you, kind of what your color scheme, what you're thinking for your design. Let us know. I am going to make my second mountain a slightly different color. This one's easy on the battleship. It's 4 over. Blue, gray text. So I just like to, a little graphic design tip is if you just change the shade of a color, and again, I'm going to show you my original, but just changing the shading has a really nice effect. I'm now going to copy. I'm going to duplicate these mountains because I want some on the other side here. Maybe I put this one, make it a little bigger. I want maybe this one. It's looking good. And lining up on top of my rectangle. And Shawnee, I'm going to go for a feature. I'm going to do kind of like a nice bigger mountain right in the foreground. Middle. Look at that. So that's the last one I placed. So that's why that one is on the middle there. And now I have our mountains. But Shawnee, have our students shared any like colors, any kind of insider information?
Not yet. I'm guessing everybody's busy with their mountains, which is awesome. Like, keep creating. Don't worry about like filling out the form. We have time to get to that.
And don't worry, students, I sometimes spend a long time choosing colors. I am super picky about colors. Again, just because I did my mountains in this color, you could do any of the colors, custom colors, or anything in the color palette under shape. So these are the theme colors. You'll notice though, if you ever use templates, your theme colors will change in PowerPoint to match what you've chosen. So if you're ever wondering, you're doing like another paint night sometime, you're like, whoa, these are totally different colors. PowerPoint matches them to the theme. It's brilliant. It's magic.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We had a couple people, sorry, but there's a purple theme, a navy blue. Like, that's one of your people. I would have just said blue. Inja, and a couple of other just interesting core. A lot of people are just following along with you.
Great.
And so yeah, we're getting some variations out there, and some people are just trying to like basically do what you're doing, which is pretty awesome too.
That's perfect. And I want to remind students that sometimes in the class you might like see someone's are like, wow, that's a great idea. It's not copying, it's a compliment. So when you create an idea or a color scheme and people are like, wow, I love it, and they want to, it's just take it as a compliment. There's no such thing as copying. It's called inspiration. It is inspiration. So Shawnee, should we start in on our terrain here?
I think we're ready to. And this is where my final question is in the terrain. I'm really curious about how
Okay.
you got all the, like, it looks kind of like you did it with the sky, but it's different.
It is different. And maybe this will be a good time, Shawnee, just to remind the teachers that these step-by-step instructions are in that resource slide deck. So opening up the web-based, a blank layout, background color, adding the single waves and duplicating them. And I show my progress, adding that texture, adding that bottom rectangle, adding the mountains. And of course, we've already asked you what colors did you select. I'm not going to go too much further, but teachers, remember the cc.page/virtual paint party will get you a copy of this resource. It has the step-by-step, because if you want to have this virtual paint party fun again, you can.
And why not?
And that's really a question. Why wouldn't you? Okay, let's start with the train. Let's make a quick observation here. I have, Shawnee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 pieces to my train. All right. Going back to my insert menu, under shapes, we're going to scroll all the way down again. I gave you a little hint to this. So we used the wave, the single, I call it the single wave because it's just a wave on its own. We're going to go next door to the double wave. So this is under the stars and banners section, the double wave. We are going to start with that. Double wave it is, just like we did with the background. I'm going to I want to actually hide that bottom outline line of my mountains. So there's my double wave. I like it. Stretch it out. We're going to do a fill color. Again, choose any colors you want. I'm going to do blue gray, text 2, darker 25%. Also, that's the same color as my rectangle, and it's the same color as some of my mountains. Shawnee, battleship.
So it's over 4 and down 5.
Over 4, down 5. And I also want to do the outline color. I like to keep the thickness consistent, so I will do a weight of 2 1/4. Good. Awesome. We're doing really good. So we have the first train. Now, Shawnee, you'll notice on the second train that the line goes in a different direction.
And there's not a triple wave button. I checked.
No. Yeah, there's no triple wave, and we're not using single wave, although single wave would maybe work. Let me show you this cool design trick. All right. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate. Right? We're duplicating. We've practiced that. We've done that a few times now. I've moved it down just a little bit so you can see it. So Control D to duplicate. But under that shape menu, look at this, Shawnee. There's this thing that says arrange.
Yeah.
And this is going to give me some options. And this is where that layering has come in. So if you're like doing the mountains and you're like, oh, I actually want like this mountain at the top, you would just click on that mountain and say bring to front, and that will tell PowerPoint to relayer, right? So bring to front brings it all the way to the front. Send to back sends it all the way to the back, but bring forward just does one layer, so one layer up, and send backward does one layer down. But if you wanted it, say like 2 layers down, you would just click it twice. But further down, there's a rotate. And that's where we can flip it. Because if I flip it, I'm going to be able to adjust the curve of that. So I'm going to just show the students one more time how I got to that. So I duplicated my shape. I clicked on it so I could get to the shape menu right here. I click arrange. I can go all the way down to rotate, and I'm going to flip it horizontally. So watch this. When I flip it,
the waves go the opposite way.
The waves go the opposite way. Now I need to pick a color. So my train, I've done kind of a darker blue, a dark-ish green, and then a lighter blue, and then a lighter green. Now these terrains, you can make any colors you'd like. I personally think a bit of contrast looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and change this color. And I think I'm going to make it, I'm going to go with this green. Green, accent 6, darker 25. Shawnee?
All the way over and down 5.
All the way over, down 5. I'm loving this battleship game. I never will get old. So I've colored that one. You know, on my original, I had 6 pieces of terrain. I have 2. I don't actually need to go back and insert that shape again because I have it in the shape that I want. I want to go back in the other direction now. So if I duplicate my first second wave, it will be in the opposite direction now. Did you see that magic, Shawnee?
Nice.
So I've duplicated the first double wave that I made. Look at that. And now you can adjust if you're like, okay, I like the green, but I don't want a lot of green. Just tuck it down a little bit, right? So you can adjust your train. And this is like, it's so simple using the shapes, but they have such powerful effects when you combine them together. Now I'm going to, just because I like variation in color in my paintings, I'm going to choose a slightly different blue. I'm actually going to use the one in the top here, Blue Gray Text 2.
So over 4.
I was like, Shawnee, you're going to do my battleship. Over 4. We're going to do that one. Now I want my train to go the opposite direction again. So I'm going to duplicate my second one. Control D on my keyboard. Drag it down, adjusting how thick, you know, how skinny you want those different colors. And I am then going to make that, I think I'm going to do this one, green accent 6.
The top green one?
Yeah, top green one, all the way over. And I am going to duplicate. So sometimes I have to like remember, okay, I need another one of my first one. But if you say duplicated one and you're like, oh, that's the wrong direction, just hit backspace on your keyboard and it will get rid of it. I just wanted to show students how to make a custom color. If you go back to your fill color and go at the bottom, on my original painting, my 5th terrain was kind of in the brown category. And brown can be filled. If you just slide over to the orange area, there's some beautiful shades in brown there. So further right, it's going to be like a richer, more vibrant brown. I kind of like the gray browns myself. So I'm going to choose one from in here, but you can make your own custom. If you're super nerdy about colors, there's even hex codes, because I know a lot of students in the upper grades, like those grade 11s, maybe you've done some graphic design and you're familiar with hex codes, even adjusting these numbers. So you have the hex codes, which you can copy from websites, or I call these the RGB, like the red, green, blues. Just by adjusting those numbers, you get different colors too. So if you find, say, a color from a particular landscape that you'd like, you can do that. That we just got super nerdy for a minute there, Shawnee.
But that different color, like totally different color, just adds a splash to everything.
Yeah, I'm just adding a really random color there, and I'm going to finish it off. I'm going to tie it back in with my original blue color. I want to remind students, don't worry if your terrain goes off the edge. That's why we put that safety rectangle there. Shawnee, look what I did. I duplicated the wrong one, Shawnee.
I was waiting to see what you were doing there. I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't look right, but
I need a different one. I need this one. See, it happens. I duplicated the wrong one. I was like, my wave's in the same direction, but it's also okay to have them in the same direction. Yeah. Maybe it looks good. So I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to make this the navy. Awesome. Okay. Woo. Shawnee, we did our training. We did it.
That's beautiful. We got to add some bears and trees though still.
Yeah, we sure do. And students, remember from here, you can adjust, you can make any of these like thicker, just make it where the color like peeks in. If you're like, oh, okay, I really like that custom color I did. I want more of that and maybe less of my green. Adjust it, right? That's the beauty. This is your graphic. So make it however you would like. All right, let's do that. So Shawnee is like, Emma, we need to get some stuff on there, some icons on there. This is my painting now. Shawnee and I both have a little bear cub at home. So we're going to do like our parent bear and our little bear cub. I've done trees here. There's lots of other cool things that you can add. And those are located under the insert. under the icon.
Bird.
Under the bird. We're going under the bird. But before, Shawnee, we were under illustrations. And we actually want to stay on icons. That's where it opens up. And there's a ton of things. Now, a few things in here are not going to be that helpful for your painting, but there's also a lot of great things in here. If you keep scrolling down, like there's the bear cub, there's a beaver, there's trees. You could spend some time searching, seeing what they have. I mean, a dinosaur is kind of cool, a little prehistoric, I suppose. But lots of different items that you can have. You can even search. So if I wanted a tree, I could search a tree. Now, Shawnee, you'll notice that some are black and some are white. And what the difference is the black is a solid color. Those are the ones we want. If you choose the white one, it's actually just going to be an outline.
Oh, so it's like see-through?
See-through. So we don't really want that outline. Like if I was choosing the bear, there's a cute little panda bear, but sorry, students, we don't have panda bears on the coast here. I wish, but we don't. But I would do the solid color because if I choose this bear, I can only change the outline color. I want to be able to, if I want to change the color. So I'm going to add a bear. And this is the magic part, Shawnee, because some students might have done more of like a winter theme. Mm-hmm. And this would be a black bear. But in Canada, up north, we have polar bears. So if you did more of a winter scene, you could go up to graphics. You could change the color. Boom, it's a polar bear.
Awesome. And actually, Macy just put it in the form that she's doing a winter scene with snowy and stuff. So that might be something that she wants to go with.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do now is just give you a few minutes. I'm going to show you that one more time, but we're going to give you a few minutes to kind of add your features on your painting. I'm going to show you the original one more time. So I'm going to call it my mama bear and my bear cub. Shawnee might be his papa bear and his little bear cub.
Yep. My little bear river.
My little bear river. Yeah, maybe it's a river. And you can add your trees. So if you want, you can do that duplicate tool again. Just hit Control D, duplicate. Remember to drag by the corners. You want to keep it proportional. If I accidentally drag by the sides, it's going to stretch. It's going to stretch out my bear cub. And please don't do that to my little bear cub. We always drag from the corners. Corners keeps things proportional. So there's my parent bear and my little bear cub. And something else I would add, we are trees galore over here, Shawnee. Lots and lots of trees. A lot of our trees get shipped all over the world. And we have lots, don't worry. We have lots. We only are allowed to cut down 1% of them every year anyways. Don't worry, we got lots. So under the insert menu, I'm going to do tree. I'm going to choose this one because again, if I do this one, it's just going to be an outline. This one I also like, Shawnee. This is a stump. The stump is cool. You could do a cluster of them. This one would look kind of cool. Lots of options. So I'm going to insert a tree.
Well, I love always looking in the icons because it's so much easier if there's an icon instead of searching for the perfect drawing of a tree. There's so many and you can get totally bogged down. Instead, just go to the icons menu and just be oh, there it is.
And this is one of the beauties of PowerPoint, that you have this built in there. Not a lot of kind of presentation tools have these really cool icons that you can add in. And a little graphic design trick or tip is if you adjust the sizes of your trees, it just adds more depth. And if I was doing trees right at the front, they'd be bigger because I'm closer to them. So some bigger trees there. And because they're, whoops, I forgot to duplicate that one. Control D, duplicate. It did. It was just slow. So you can, trees further away, I make smaller. And you can just put them around however you would like. And you can keep designing it. So, Shawnee, what do you say? Let's give maybe 2 minutes for our students here to add on some of these design features. I'm going to add a few more myself, and let us know in the form what you added, because you always have creative ideas and maybe I'll add one of yours to my painting. Maybe you found a really cool icon. You're like, Emma, you should put this one in your painting. So give it a try. 2 minutes. Look for some cool
Perfect.
icons.
Just to give you some feedback, Emma, Riley really likes yours and is doing the same thing. So I think that's the, whatever peachy subset to transparency, 60% or whatever.
Yeah. And maybe I'll show students too, like if you go back to those icons, you can even search nature, right? If you search
Oh,
nature,
that's a fun idea.
you can like search there. Oh, Shawnee just got a notification. You can search by nature. Like maybe you want to put a fish in your little river. There's like a bonsai tree. There's different styles of trees. There's flowers. If you're doing more of a beach scene, there's some shells. Even a little picnic table.
Oh, that's fun.
That would be, or maybe you have a hiker. There is lots of really cool things you can add. There's lots, maybe, and I've thought about this as well too. Like you can have a little tent. We have tons of camping out here.
Yeah.
We're that part of Canada, Sean. You should, because you're in a different country. So we're in like the non-snowy part of Canada over here. So we can, if you want, I mean, it is cold there, but maybe you can do some year-round camping. Lots of things. Awesome. All right. So how are the students doing, Shawnee?
So it looks like most people were getting a few submissions that the different tree types. So I'm wondering if that's like an East Coast Canada where it's like more oaks and and whatever instead of pine trees.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And different animals.
Yeah.
So I think somebody added a deer. So
awesome. Well, this is super cool. Now, Shawnee, we're missing a really important part of. We go to the original painting. I have one more thing to add on. So,
yes, you do. When you said there was something missing, I was like, wait, what?
I am missing one thing. I'm going to add the sun. For some of you, it might be the moon. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a circle. It's called oval, but we know that they are mathematically closely related. I'm going to add mine in there. You choose the size. The color I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to go darker here. Orange accent to darker 50%. And I'm going to do that thicker border. First, I need to tell it what color I'd like. I'm going to stick with the black border. And then moving down to the weight of it, I'm going to go to 2 1/4. So I think, Shawnee, my painting is just about complete.
That is very nice. I like the way that the sun is the same like family of colors, but it's a whole new color that isn't anywhere else on your painting yet. That's cool.
And it's a nice contrast. So students, we wish we could see your paintings. I'm sure we would be blown away. And I want to just share like kind of a couple other things with you. Like now that your painting is complete, you might be thinking like, what do I do with it? Like what can I do with this? There's a couple things I need to tell you about. Under the design, if you were to create a similar painting that you wanted to do, just know under here, I'm on widescreen. You might be on standard, depending. Widescreen is my default in my PowerPoint. But if you clicked on custom, you could actually set the dimensions of your art. So if you were someone that maybe wanted to make like a 5x7 art print, an 8x10, 11x14, I picked those because those are really standard kind of printing and framing sizes. But you can actually do your own custom sizes. I'm not going to adjust the size currently because it will affect the proportions of my landscape. So if you are doing custom slide sizes, it's always good to do it first. But just know that's under custom. You do have the option. And Shawnee, did you know this? PowerPoint could be like 1 meter by 2 meters. Like you can make big art. too.
I was just about to ask about that. So like if a teacher was doing this and like wanted to put these up like on the wall in their classroom or whatever, they might have the students change the sizing to like 11 by 17 or whatever.
Yeah.
At the beginning, then do it. And then you could, that's awesome.
Totally. Or I do 8.5 by 11 all the time because that's a letter size paper, and those like print. If you have access to color printing, you might be able to do that. So we just wanted to let you know you can do custom size setups in PowerPoint, because I will tell you this from personal experience. You do things like with students, and there's always those paintings that are like, whoa, they've totally blown your mind. They are gorgeous. And oftentimes you want to display them. Maybe it's a new piece of art for the school. You have so many options.
Well, yours is so pretty. Like, it would be nice to like just like print that up like an actual picture, you know, send it to the corner, you know, the drugstore, whatever.
We're not
wherever it is. I don't even know where to print pictures anymore, but
all right.
I know it can be done.
I can speak from my personal experience, Shawnee, because I print digital designs almost daily. I do it all the time. So if you wanted to kind of get this printed, maybe you want to make an art card, maybe, you know, all art for the wall, you would save it as you're going to download as an image, and an image puts it into that JPEG form, and then it's universal. And once it's a JPEG, you can put this image in anything. So I'm going to show you, I've downloaded it. If I open this up here, here is, and this is where I talk about the cleanup. Why? Don't worry if you've gone off the edges. If I double click this, there we go. Here's my painting. So, Johnny, this is my cleanup. Nice. Downloading it as a JPEG is your cleanup. It cleans up all the edges.
That is fantastic.
Again, we don't have to worry if something goes off the edge. Now, once I have this JPEG, you can see I can print it. I can save it. Maybe you're doing creative writing stories and you want to like depict a scene from it. You can insert this into a Microsoft Word document. Like you can illustrate your writing. Maybe you're doing a novel study. Tons and tons of things you can do with it. This JPEG can be uploaded. Like you can print it at Costco, at London Drugs, at Walmart, whatever your local printing place is. It can then be printed. But just a trick, if you are getting printed, you do need to adjust the size setup. And if you're going big, like if you want a really big canvas, you're going to do a really, really large height by width. And I actually increase my resolution higher than what I need, because then I make sure I have like a really clean and crisp image. So there's just a little fun fact for you.
Yeah.
But students, little fun fact. Now, students, we want to hear about you before we end today. But first of all, we want to say congratulations. My screen is loading, but this will say congratulations on completing your painting. We're going to give you a 10 out of 10. We loved your participation.
And if they're not finished yet, they can come back and finish it later on, right? They don't have to be.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the web base, because they're in the web based version of PowerPoint. You don't have to be on that same device. You can access it at home, wherever, different device, Office 365 account. You can be on any device. That's the beauty of it. We would love to know today, was there one new feature of PowerPoint that you learned? Like maybe it was the icon. I know for Shawnee, he really liked the idea. I'm kind of speaking for you, Sean. Maybe Shawnee will ask you, what did you like? What did you learn?
I learned a couple things, actually. I really love the going down on the insert and seeing like all the other things, because I'm used to like just looking at that top couple of menus of basic shapes. So going down, the whole texture thing, and that just came in on the form. Somebody was added like using it as snow, but the texture idea, looking for patterns. The icons are a hit, evidently.
I know, it's so fun. There's something, I think with the icons, there's something so satisfying that creating the beautiful landscape and then adding those finishing touches. I think there's something so satisfying about that.
Oh. And you got a shout out for being able to find the custom color. So like not just looking at the palette that Microsoft recommends, but going into the bottom part and doing the customize.
Awesome. Yeah, so custom colors are amazing. If you want to tell us about your masterpiece, you can. But at this point, it's
Yeah.
time. Thank you so much for joining us. Please connect with the teacher about your next steps. And we had so much fun with you this morning.
So much fun. Thank you, Emma. I'm going to turn it off. We're right at our time. So everybody keep creating, enjoy, and thank you, Emma.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.